Hi there, I hope you will come along and sew these bob pants with me. Let's go. Hi guys, I am back this week. I'm going to do a fast forward double speed, triple speed, quadruple speed video of me sewing the bob pant, which is a very popular pattern by Style Arc. I will link it in the description box if you want to choose this pattern. This is my first time making it, so I hope it goes well. And I'm going to make it out of quilting cotton. I have this in the shop at SewHungryHippie.com. It's by Damask Love for Riley Blake, and it's called Girl Power. I love it. So I'm going to give this a try because if you follow me on Instagram at SewHungryHippie, you know that a lot of my clothes are vibrant and fun and encouraging you not to take yourself too seriously. But anyways, it's fun sewing and exploring and just learning what is good for you and what is not, or what you like to do, and just having fun because life is short, so have fun. Okay, so here I'm just showing you how I cut the pattern pieces out. I fold the fabric wrong sides together and I try to line up my straight grain lines there on the pattern as best as possible. You can see my front pant is a little tiny bit crooked or off grain, but it works for this one. It's a roomy pattern, so it works. And then I just cut it out using my Havel's rotary cutter and cutting mat, and this speeds up cutting out clothing patterns quite a bit for me. I rarely use scissors these days. So I'm just moving it down so that you can see. And be sure to cut all your notches out as well. Those help you line up the pattern and get the pieces matching correctly. This is the back of the pant. The back of the pant usually has that longer rise crotch curve, and that's how you can differentiate it. And especially on this pattern, it's a much wider leg as well. I really like Style Arc pants because a lot of times she moves that seam line on the side forward a bit, and that's a slimming effect. So just finishing up cutting these out here. You can see that I'm using my pattern weights. These are the Zen blocks by Tansy Designs, and that pattern is worth every single cent. I love it. I use my pattern weights all the time. I just love them. Here I'm cutting the waistband and making all the notches on the waistband. This is important later because she has this elastic loop type of waistband, which is not my favorite, but we're going to make it work. Here I'm cutting out all 4 pocket pieces at once. I do this a lot. It's not something everybody does, but I'm all about streamlining. Make sure to do the notches on your pocket pieces as well. Here I'm laying out the front of the pant, both pieces, and I will attach a pocket to each piece. Each pocket, each 4 pieces of pocket will attach to a pant leg. So here I'm doing the front, and then I'm going to do the back in a second. Make sure to line up those notches. We're just, I think, is this called understitching? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. But we're just making sure that the pocket is going to sit nicely in the pant once it's folded inside again. Now here are the back pant pieces, and I am attaching a pocket to each of the back as well. Remember, right sides together as you can see, and then stitch this. And by the way, remember that seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter. It is not as large as a lot of big box patterns. Now here we're going to join one front leg and one back leg, right sides together. Be sure to line everything up so that your pockets are matching. There are also notches down this leg seam. See, I just showed one right there. Match up your notches. It's really important. Use a lot of pins. Do whatever you need to do to make sure everything stays in place. When you're sewing that pocket, come up to the beginning of it, lift your presser foot while your needle is still down in the fabric, turn, put your presser foot back down, and then go around the curve. And then when you come back to that join with the leg, repeat the process. Needle down, lift the foot, and turn. Foot back down. I am deciding to treat my edges with a serger. You don't absolutely need a serger at all. Do not let that stop you. Treat your seam allowances with pinking shears and it will help prevent fraying. You can also do a zigzag stitch instead of a straight stitch and that will help fraying as well. Okay, so this is not the way I would normally put pants together, but we're going to follow the instructions. So she wants you to sew this inner seam. So let me show you how we do that. You've got this so far, right? Here's a front, here's a back. I'm going to flip it to the wrong sides. The pocket should be laying towards the front. Okay? Fold this so that the inseam, which is the part under the curve, match your notches here, and pin this and sew all the way down this. You'll have these little notches that should be matching up. I'm going to baste this really quick so I can show you the next step. Okay? You're going to put one inside the other so that we can sew this crotch. So one leg needs to be turned right side out so that it can fit inside the other leg so the fabrics are right sides together. So right sides together, match up your seams and pin that in place carefully. Okay, so now carefully I'm going to feed this through my sewing machine and sew this curved edge only. You're not catching anything else. So I'm going to do that quick and then I'm going to serge it. When you're sewing this, use your fingers and feel that fabric and make sure you're just getting those 2 layers of the crotch seam. I always double check the crotch seam because that takes a lot of wear and tear. So sometimes I do a double seam here. In this case, I'm going to serge it as well. So do what you like, but really take the time to reinforce that seam. It does get a lot of pressure on it. Onto the waistband. Just follow the instructions, put your band right sides together and sew that back seam and then press it open. Now we're going to fold the band wrong sides together lengthwise. As you can see, this is where the elastic will fit up inside the waistband. I always mark front, back, and the two sides, so the 4 quadrants of the waistband, because what we're going to do is fit that elastic up in there. We have to make it work. Now right here I'm reinforcing those pockets. I forgot that step on the pattern. I'm just tacking it. It's called a bar tack, and it just makes sure that the pocket behaves correctly. Okay, so let's move on to the elastic bit. I usually like to measure it on my waist and pull it tight so that I know the pants will stay up on me if my pockets are loaded down. And then sew that together with a zigzag stitch. I just overlap and sew together. I find if I do it any other way, it's too bulky. So this is what I do. So now I'm marking front, back, and the sides of the elastic. And these markings are going to have to match your waistband. This can be really tricky to do, and it may take some practice. If you need to do a practice waistband, do it. Do whatever you need to do. We're going to be stretching the elastic at the same time that we're sewing it into the waistband. You're placing that elastic right up near the fold. It's not in the fold, but it's very near it, just so you know. Now the thing about it when we're doing this elastic and sewing it into the waistband, between the markings, you're going to have to really pull and stretch that elastic as you zigzag stitch down. I'm just going to say it, it's not easy, but it's doable. I just have one hand in the back of the machine and one hand here, and I sew as I'm stretching and pulling. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And we're almost to the fold, but not quite in it. It's okay to stop often. It's perfectly fine. So my next pull is up here, so I already have to pull quite a bit more. I'm going to speed this up. You take your time on this part. This is really important so that you have a comfortable waistband. Now I'm folding those open edges together, just bringing them to meet, and then basting that open edge so that the waistband will sit nicely when I go to sew it into the pants in the next step. Also, I'm using smaller elastic. I only have 3/4 of an inch here at home, and the pattern does call for 1.5 inch. Now match that raw edge of your waistband with the raw edge of the top of the pants and work your way around. I decided not to use pins. I'm using clips here because it is a circle and I tend to poke myself a lot with those pins, but do what works for you. Sometimes I put the waistband on and then I have to move some things around to make sure it's even all the way around. So again, just take your time. There's no rush. So I'm serging this part on. Just sew it if you don't have a serger. Use your zigzag stitch or treat it with pinking shears again. I just find that serging is a lot faster for me, and so that's why I'm partial to it. Trim all your threads and let's do the hem. I am going to serge the raw edge of my pant bottom and then just fold it up and sew that edge down. You can do a double fold hem or whatever you like for your hems on your pants. This is quick and easy and it works, and so that's why I'm doing it. Make sure to press your pants when you're all finished and complete. Check all your seams, fix anything that needs fixing now, and then give them a try on. Good job! I'm so proud of you. You did it. And hopefully you learned some things along the way. Do you like my Bob Pant story? I really like these. I like the balloon shape or the cocoon shape, whatever you want to call it. The waistband is comfortable. The pockets feel in the right place. And I think you could play with size. So I'm pretty happy with it. Thank you for subscribing and liking this video, and I hope to see you soon.